One. Welcome to another Music Talk Tuesday, and today I thought it would be interesting to discuss something that is a little bit more general to the music industry and to sort of the evolvement of music over the years, and that is music videos. Yes, with the updates within technology as well as our ability to spread knowledge about various artists and um, musicians everywhere, we have seen the rise of the music videos. And the interesting thing about music videos is that they actually kind of go back to um, sort of the founding of filmmaking, surprisingly, sort of similar to how animation goes back as well um, to the founding of movies and filmmaking. And I think music videos over the years have played a very huge role when it comes to the involvement of the music industry as well as business in general, because sometimes, a music video can technically be classified as a commercial because you're playing music over maybe showcasing a product or uh, discussing something that a business offers and using music as a means to sort of express or establish mood or things like that. So I think it's been a very profound part of our understanding of art. Uh, and the interesting thing is that technically the first ever what you could call a music video was actually made in 1894 by two men, one named Edward B. Marks and another named Joe Stern. And basically they just wanted to promote their song. That was really the initial reason as to why the music video was technically made. Um, and it was for the song The Little Lost Child. Um, and basically, since obviously the 1800s didn't have the same amount of technology as the 20th or 21st century, um, it basically was an illustrated song. In other words, there were a series of still images on a screen while simultaneously a live performance was occurring. So it kind of looks like there is sort of movement. You can almost say it's kind of uh, animated in that sense, since it takes a bunch of still images um, while simultaneously showcasing a sort of live performance. Um, so it really was really the first kind of groundwork and experiment when it came to creating something that would ultimately end up resembling something like a music video. And actually, the talkies that came in within the 1920s did play a very pivotal role in shaping music videos. Um, because once you had talkies, it's a lot easier to incorporate music because you can actually hear the music, you can actually have it established within the film that you're making, uh, or make it sort of part of a song. And showcase it in sort of that musical format. And that's usually how music videos were showcased during this time. And they were considered basically like short films where you would have dancing, singing, choreography, all that jazz. And that would be sort of the entertainment. You would sit there and then suddenly there would be singing and dancing and, people doing funny little things. So it was kind of just like shorts. They weren't really full-length feature films or anything, and usually music videos sort of stay that way. But that kind of changed later on. But for the most part, music videos have just maintained that level of one song or multiple songs, maybe together. Um, but within the earlier stages of filmmaking, music videos started primarily as musical short films where they would just have dancing, singing, and all that stuff incorporated together, and that would be part of basically the short film and part of the entertainment. Um, However, once we started to establish the 1950s, where we have television rising, this is where we do get really technically the music videos of what we consider more of music videos today, where you have somebody singing, there's a performance going on, while at the same time there's the music, and then maybe there are some backgrounds, maybe there's some dancing and singing and whatnot, but it's not considered a short film, it's more considered just showcasing the song, as opposed to maybe showcasing multiple songs or trying to create some kind of short film or short entertainment from it. One perfect example would be Jailhouse by Elvis Presley. That was one of the more earlier films, music videos that came out during that time period. And later on, once we got into the 60s and the rise of the Beatles, we saw a lot of films that were primarily dedicated to sort of showcasing the band's work and things like that. So the Beatles would have these films dedicated to their work and be incorporated in what we would consider, I guess, a music video. For example, it's a Hard Day's Night, I believe, was one of those films. So, and I think We All Live in a Yellow Submarine was probably another one, but I remember them mostly being like, these sort of trippy, or either they're either you see the Beatles in as themselves, or you see them as like these cartoon kind of funky looking characters. So they did kind of play around with their ideas, it seemed like, and they just kind of incorporated it with what was sort of, I guess, really popular at the time. So that basically was how artists were able to really showcase their work within the 60s, because it was more about trying to make films about the artists and showcase their work in that format. And most of the time, again, like I've said before, usually and initially it was always about promoting the music. But that's sort of changed over the years, since television has allowed for, businesses and commercials to sort of use songs to convey a mood or a message to the audience. And this is where you get into music videos, and in other words, sort of commercials conveying a message, so to speak, and not so much of the song. But sometimes you'll be listening to a commercial and then you'll hear the song, and then all of a sudden you want to go figure out what that song is. So again, I think they sort of kind of mutually benefit from one another. Commercials, displaying music, it gets people excited to knowing about who the artist was. And I think also a lot of people like the fact that, the business probably chose that song or had that kind of creativity behind it. So when promoting their product or whatever they're selling. So again, I think music videos have become a little bit more loose, at least within that time period, because they did allow for more commercial use of songs, especially when the rise of television came. However, there was another thing that happened after the 70s, when we move on into the 80s, where we saw the rise of music-based television programs. In particular, MTV is a perfect example, VH1 being another example. And basically, they're primarily dedicated to music and incorporating television as a part of music. And this was fairly popular throughout the 80s and 90s because within the 80s and 90s we didn't have the internet, or the internet at least as we see the internet today. So I think this was a really huge outlet for a lot of young audiences for them to go and, see what's popular, see what's out there. They just found it within this realm of channels that were really dedicated to music and seeing what was popular in music, what was going on in music, what were artists doing, etc., etc. Seeing specials, things like that. That's something that got people invested. But now, within the 21st century, since we have the rise of the internet accessibility, people are now using the internet as that outlet to ultimately figure out what's out there and what's popular and what's trending. So the internet has been really the 21st century television, really. For younger people, most younger people watch things through the internet now than they do, I think, through television. And so that has led music videos to sort of stray to that outlet. YouTube being a primary example, you see constantly different music videos coming out of YouTube and being promoted. So again, it's a perfect platform, so why not use it? And there's a lot of opportunity for music videos to get very popular. A lot of high view counts are with music videos in particular on YouTube. So I think it only makes sense that the internet would eventually take over as far as being the outlet for people to find music videos and find that creativity in that form of entertainment. There might be some people who feel that music videos kind of distract the audience from really listening to the music, and that they're just ultimately paying attention to, the visuals and not listening so much. I think that could be a possibility, and I think we are becoming a little bit more visual in the sense that we like things to be kind of displayed for us. And I also think, though, too, that still music videos still have this level of creativity that I think really does promote kind of the artist's intentions, which I think is something that you can, I think, admire somebody who's viewing it. But I do understand if there's some who'd feel that they would rather just listen to the music by itself without the music video. But I still find it very fascinating that music videos do have this huge outlet and have been so significantly popular over the years. And I think they'll sort of continue to be, only because I think we are getting in the more visual direction. So it only makes sense that people would follow in those footsteps. But yeah, I think that's really ultimately all I can say when it comes to music videos and sort of giving you a history as to where they came from and where ultimately we are right now when it comes to music videos. And I think it's very fascinating, this whole topic. It's very interesting to read about and learn about. But I think if you look at really what ultimately evolved with technology, you'll see sort of music videos evolving in that format. And I think music videos are really an essential outlet for a lot of artists out there today. So you almost have to use them if you can. Um, but yeah, I think that's though really ultimately all I can say. But before I go for this video, I just wanted to mention, and it's something that I think is very important to mention, my company that I work for has made a YouTube channel, and I'm actually responsible for that YouTube channel. And I really helped, and I'm really helping sort of build the company's brand. So if it would be possible for you to go check out the links below that I'm going to be putting in this video description, which will take you to the videos that I've currently uploaded for them, that would be fabulous. um, I would really appreciate the feedback or anything, because it was really enjoyable to do, and I think it's something that's really cool, and I would totally recommend to subscribe to the channels, because then you'll be able to see me and kind of what I do, and you'll also be able to see the company and what we really do, and it will really help spread our awareness, because we are trying to sort of get our name out there. But yeah, I'll be sure to put links to those videos below so you can watch them for your enjoyment. And one of them is actually a music video, so uh, thought it would be a perfect topic to discuss music videos and then show you a music video. But yeah, I think that's really ultimately all I can say. But again, if there are any questions, comments, concerns, more than happy to answer them. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a pleasant day, week, month, and year. And I hope to see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.